Hello everyone, this is ToadinWonderland. Welcome back to more of Pokemon Stadium 2. We're going to take a little break from the stadium for now, and I'm actually going to go to a different part of White City, and that would be the Pokemon Academy. I actually didn't start with this first just because the Little Cup was kind of like a formal introduction to Pokemon Stadium 2 in itself, and it's one of the main stadium events, so I figured it'd be better to show that first and then the Academy. I actually was pondering to do mainly another set of cups or just one. Well, I definitely wasn't going to do the Prime Cup next because that's the hardest of the four classes. But I was debating whether to do another cup or just go to the Academy. And with a little bit of help from one of my friends, I decided it would be better to show the Academy first. This is actually my second time attempting to record this. The first time, something wacky happened to my computer. Not only that, it's a good thing I actually kind of ditched it, because if it wasn't for that happening on the computer, it was kind of like lagging a little bit. It wasn't like doing what it used to do where it would speed up and then slow down. It was just kind of lagging. Nothing too bad, but it was still kind of bad to show in a way, I guess you could say. Like, it was bad, but not too bad. And then not only that, my teeth were actually hurting me too earlier, and my commentary sounded just a little bit awkward at a couple moments, so I decided it was best to scrap that as well. So ultimately, I am doing it right now, and it is much darker out now. It's pretty late now, and it's also really cold. I'm glad it's nice and warm in my room, because it is cold out. Anyway, here's the Pokemon Academy. There's two things you can do here. There's, it's also known as Earl's Pokemon class. There's the classroom and then the library. I'm going to go ahead and show just a brief intro to the library here. I'm not going to show everything that's here, but basically what the library is, it's like a reference section of the game. And this is actually pretty helpful in itself. There is a lot of information here, so it's kind of appropriate that they do call it the library. I'm going to start with items. This basically tells you about the different items that you can find in the Pokemon Game Boy games, the first generation, second generation that is. So it even separates it by red, blue, yellow, and gold, silver, crystal. If this is your first time playing Pokemon Stadium 2, the crystal information will not be on the game. Well, it's on the game, but it's not available by default. You have to connect the Pokemon Crystal game into the N64 controller pack, and that's all you really have to do in order for the crystal information to appear. Otherwise, it'll just show gold and silver. Because Pokemon Stadium 2 was actually released a short time before Crystal came out. But Nintendo did keep in mind to have the crystal features open for unlocking, because they had Crystal coming out shortly after that. Anyway, I'll go ahead and briefly show it. You can sort it by type or effect. I guess it'd be better by effect. Here you can look at all the TMs and HMs. This is Generation 1s. After looking back at these, it does make me realize how different they definitely have become over the years. And this, I always thought TM12 of the first generation was a very weird water gun. In my opinion, that was one of the most useless TMs that you could possibly have. But yeah, I'm not going to show everything, but that's basically all this is. It's just a reference section of the game. Here's all the Pokemon by name or by type. I'll go by type. And here's all the normal Pokemon. And yeah, that's basically all this is. I guess I should show this quick. Let's pick something more unique. I'll go with the grass type here. And we'll pick Celebi, because we don't typically see it all the time. Yeah, it shows different things such as like height, weight, different stats. It has it represented as a bar graph for some reason instead of numbers. I think that's a little weird how that is. And it also shows like what cup you can use it in for Pokemon Stadium 2, and it doesn't show any here, but it also tells you which Pokemon games you can find them in as well, such as it'll indicate red, blue, yellow, gold, silver, crystal. Celebi was an event Pokemon, so it's not available by default in the game. That's why it's not showing up on there. It also shows the type matchups, which Pokemon it's good against and which ones it's bad against. And you can also check the moves that Celebi can learn, and if it can learn any egg moves, which it can't because it's a legendary Pokemon. Later generations have exceptions to that, but Celebi is not one of them. And as well, pardon me, it'll also show the TMs it can learn. It'll show both Generation 1 and Generation 2. You can look up above the different information will correspond depending on what TM you have selected. The same will apply for, well, for any move for that matter. And the flashing moves are stab moves, and that means it's the same type as the Pokemon and will do more damage. That's all that means. And you can also check evolutions, but Celebi doesn't evolve, so there's nothing to show there. Let me pick, I'll pick Sunkern. Wow, you have weak stats. And anyway, here's check evolution. It says you have to use a Sunstone. So that's kind of cool that they tell you how to at least evolve the Pokemon as well. I think that's kind of neat that they do that. And that's it for the Pokemon. The other information that's on here is the different moves of the game. By type might be the easiest. Here's the normal moves, and wow, there's 108 of them. I didn't know there was that many in Generation 2. The flashing moves mean that they have additional information. It says for Guillotine here, it won't hit a higher level Pokemon. Same with Horn Drill. And Morning Sun, double power if sunny, half the power in rain or sandstorm. Yeah, that's all this is. It shows the different moves of the game as well. And this is like the type matchups. It shows the different weaknesses of the Pokemon and which ones are effective, which aren't. And you can also push A to change it to a 2-type list, meaning it will show all the possible combination Pokemon as well, and if it's good to use that type against it or not. So you can keep that in mind as well. You can do it for any of them as well. It doesn't have to just be any particular setup. Like all the different fire combos, the different fighting combos. And this is the controls of the game, but I already know what they are. And the egg groups. This is useful if you're going to breed your Pokemon. And there is a section that is no eggs, which is mainly legendary, and it's also baby Pokemon as well. I find it interesting that Nidorina and Nidoqueen can't. And for some reason, I always thought this was weird too. There's a Water 1, Water 2, and Water 3 egg group. I never understood that. I just always thought that was weird. And that would be it for all the information available in the library. Like I said, it's mainly just a reference thing. It's basically Bulbapedia built into the game if you think about it. Bulbapedia is a website that gives general information like that as well if you look it up online. And the other section of the Pokemon Academy is the classroom. And there's 3 different things you can do here. You can see it's separated by class. Trainer class, Gym Leader class, and Elite Four class. Gym Leader and Elite Four are locked until you complete everything that comes before it. So in order to unlock Gym Leader, you have to get a star in all 3 of the Trainer class challenges. And to unlock the Elite Four class, you have to get a gold star and everything for the Gym Leader class. And you also get a medal to indicate that you completed that class as well, which I already have unlocked because I did it beforehand. There's basically 3 main things here for each class though. There's a lecture, a wisdom test, and this is Pokemon battles with some of the classmates in the academy. I'll briefly show what the lecture is. I'm not going to go through all the lectures though, because it's very time consuming. But let me just... I'll pick something random here. How about residual effect changes? I like his voice though. If you never went through the lectures before and it's your first time playing this game, I suggest going through it at least once, because it is pretty useful to go through this if you don't know much about Pokemon. But anyway, I'll just go ahead and go through this quick lecture here. Residual effect changes. In the past, if a target Pokemon's type was identical to an attack move's type, the attack's moves that effect would never work. The Gold and Silver versions have changed things a bit. Now, even if the defending Pokemon's type is identical to the attack move's type, the added effect may or may not work. That means that Electric-type Electabuzz would become paralyzed by Spark, an Electric-type attack. There are still some exceptions. Attacking a poison-type Pokemon with a poison-type move will not poison it. In the same manner, Ice-type Pokemon cannot easily be frozen by an Ice-type move. Fire-type attack won't easily burn a Fire-type Pokemon. Pokemon are not affected as often by status problems that match their own types. Other than those exceptions, the added effects of moves will affect all Pokemon, even if attack and defender's type match. Okay, give it your best shot. And that was the end of that particular lecture. This applies to all lectures. At the end of every single one, after you complete the lecture itself, he'll prompt you for a question. You're given 10 seconds to answer it, so let's go ahead and see what he has to ask. Which condition do Ice-type Pokemon not easily become? Frozen. That I know did apply to the lecture. Half the time the questions he asks you doesn't actually apply to the lecture itself. It's usually like something random that he mentioned during the lecture that he'll ask you. But yeah, after you complete it, you do earn a gold star for that particular lecture, and when you get a gold star for all lectures, you get a gold star on the main menu for that. And in addition to the lectures, there are also wisdom tests. It's similar to the questions. I'm going to go ahead and... yeah, what the heck, I'll go ahead and do... I'm just going to do one of them. All three of them are basically the same thing. I'll do the Elite Four, which is the hardest of the three. But basically, you're given 10 questions, and it's different information about Pokemon. Okay, it makes it impossible to use one of the opponent's moves. What move is this? Disable. So yeah, it'll basically give you some trivial information about the mechanics of Pokemon. If the opponent is a ground-type Pokemon, which type should be switched out for the best advantage? Well, with these choices, the best would be Grass, because Grass is super effective against Ground, and Ground will do very little damage against Grass. Okay, which move can inflict quadruple damage on Scizor? That'd be Flamethrower, because it's Bug and Steel. Okay, the next one. Donphin is which type of Pokemon? Ground type. P.S. I do love Donphin. You'll see me using it a good bit. Which egg move can Ekans learn? I would assume Lick. Oh. Wow. That was interesting. I did not know that. The best ball, it never misses. What item is this? That would be the Master Ball. The bicycle. Sure, it's completely a bicycle. Surprisingly, Arbok can learn which of the following moves. Iron Tail? Wow, that is weird. Which move is especially effective after using Perish Song? Mean Look, because that way the Pokemon can't switch out. Which is the normal type move that Meganium can learn? That would be Body Slam, because mine actually has that. Okay, it halves the power fire type attacks. That would be Rain Dance. And I know I missed two of them. In order to pass the wisdom test, this is for all three classes. You have to get at least a score of 80, which I did, so I qualified. Yeah, I wonder what those answers were, actually. If any of you guys know, go ahead and tell me, because I actually don't know what that was. The egg move that Ekans can learn, I would have assumed it was Lick, because Ekans has a tongue, and then Arbok, I would think, can learn Iron Tail, but apparently not. So yeah, if any of you guys know, let me know what the answer was to those. But anyway, that was the end of the wisdom test. The other two were just like it, except I did the hardest of the three because it was the Elite Four class. And that's about it for the lectures and tests. There's really nothing else I can show about them.